gonna do today is we're gonna go back over the system, and um if you want to go back and give me your numbers based off of last week,
Okay.
when I we could do that. So every week what we're going to do is we're going to look at your past week just to kind of see how your numbers have grown. Now remember, the goal is to grow a active pipeline of 25, minimum of 25 clients that are in the time frames of either 12 months or less, that's going to buy, sell some type of transaction, right? So so if the average price point in your market is 400,000, 25, that's 10 million, right? So I just want to make sure that every week that you are adding value to your pipeline on a consistent basis. Or B, you're growing your database that could potentially have clients in your pipeline. Because the database is just where you're capturing names of customers coming into your database, right? Your database.
Mhm.
It could also be past clients that have already closed that are in your database, right? Your pipeline is a subset of your database. So meaning that you have these you have are people that are kind of like in this sales funnel that they've already spoken with you, and they're in whatever journey there are in the next 12 months or less, they're going to do some type of transaction. So that's your pipeline inside your database, right? So if I let me share my screen so you can kind of see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So over here we have leads that are coming into your database. We're going to talk about that, and then we have leads that already spoken to, and they're in your pipeline. Now I use a definition when I call clients. So clients, I feel, should be people who agree to work with you, whether it's verbally or on contract. They're like, hey, Marilyn, can you help me sell my home or buy my home? I'm going to sell my home this month, next month, 12 months, 18 months. When that process happened, it's a result of them being your client.
Okay.
The result doesn't happen and say, oh, they're my client because I closed them. They should be your client because they actively chose you to be their client. So that's how I see a client, and you're just helping them with that process, and the result is their house getting sold, or you're helping them to buy a house. So that's why people in your pipeline, you're actively working with them. They've agreed that you're going to be their agent, verbally or written, and you're just working with them to help them to transact. Okay, so
Mhm.
with that being said, the first thing we got to do is we got to figure out, are we building our leads into the database, right? So because if no leads are going to the database, there's no pipeline, there's no clients.
Mhm.
So last week, how many leads came into your database? Just give me a number. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Three.
3. Okay. So 3 came into your database this month, right? Which
Mhm.
is good. And from these sources, how many came from a source? Was it one source, two source, three sources, 4 or 5?
What do you mean when you came through?
So remember, you got a lead gen source that we described.
Yeah.
One
Okay.
is, open houses. One is, where did they come from?
Okay. So they came through um it not none of my three legions.
Okay, so where did they come from?
They came from
Okay,
working.
so from your rideshare thing?
No, from another job.
Okay, okay. So you got three. So okay, so you got them from another job. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Mhm.
Um, if we were to look back for the month of December, the lead sources that you're developing, how many do you can you go into your follow-up your I'm assuming you have follow-up boss, but let me just stop there because you might have another CRM. How many leads came from your other sources in the month of December? Do you have that number?
Yeah, 15.
15. Okay. So is the 15 including the four you just talked about, the three you just talked about,
No.
or is extra?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you got a total, so you grew your database. Now I want you to keep that number in mind, okay?
Okay.
Because we're gonna go through the system. Um, out of the 15, because remember, these numbers here are totaling the leads that came in from these five sources. And we already been going over these the last couple of weeks. And then now we're going to talk about in your CRM system, if you call a person, and this contact should be called, if you call the person and there was no response, or you call the person and there was a little bit of conversation, but not a good conversation to move forward. And then there's a call where you call someone and the conversation went well because it ended up in an appointment. Okay. So this is how we're going to walk through this system here. Okay.
Mm.
So do you have in your CRM how many calls you made last month to these leads that came in last month?
Well, December, yes.
Okay, so in December, out of the 15 plus the three that you had, which totals 18, were you
Mhm.
able to contact and call any of these 18 people?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Out of the 18 people, a connection would be, hey, they answered, but they didn't kind of they you had to call them back, something happened, call me later. You never really had a conversation about what you needed to talk about. And then a conversation is you did have an opportunity to have a conversation, and it might have led to an appointment, or it might have led to just follow back up. So how many of those 18 led to a had led to a good conversation to talk about real estate, regardless of the result?
Okay. So
How many of them?
about
Five.
5.
Okay, so five of them you had a conversation. You were
Mhm.
able to talk to them about real estate, and how many of them ended up where you're going to schedule an appointment to move towards the next step? Now, let me preface this. The appointment, even if the customer says, Marilyn, we're probably not going to move to 6 months from now, but stay in touch with me so that we can keep. And so you schedule an appointment to follow back up with them 2 months from now. So an appointment is always the outcome if they want to move forward, even if they're down the road from now. And because some people always think it should only be an appointment when they're ready to start touring, and that's not true.
Mhm.
It should always be if they are when you have that conversation, you never and they're kind of you feel like they're gonna kind of move forward with something, you always schedule a next appointment. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, so out of the four, 18 leads, four conversations, how many ended into an appointment?
I guess it would be 3 because one is an elderly. Can I just explain? One is an elderly. He wanted a CMA analysis of his home, and I sent it to him. And I called him the 2 days later, and he said call him again next week because he wants to sell his home and move into a assisted living. So that was one.
So,
So I'm going to call
so
him next.
okay. So how? Give me an estimate of that property, the value. What do you think?
Oh, the value, three. It was three. I can't remember all of it, but it was under 400,000, and it was over 350. I just can't.
So, Maryland, you grew your pipeline by 350,000. You see how this is working? Think
Mm,
about it, right?
okay.
Because when we first started, it was zero.
Right. Right. Right.
So you
Oh,
are
yeah.
actually building your pipeline.
Okay. Okay.
so
Wow.
so so
Think about it like
so
that.
right.
But
So I'm going to show you. We haven't got to the second part here yet, right? And we'll get to there. So you had a conversation. You had an appointment, right? You met
yes.
with it. So you had a conversation, and you determined, right? The outcome was that they're going to fall in one of these three time frames. Is
Mhm.
he's going to buy his house is 0 to 3, 3 to 6, or 6 to 12? Which one?
I Okay. He didn't say, but he
Okay,
said he wanted to
so
do it
so you need to
possible.
write this down. You need to write
Okay.
this down because this is
Okay.
part of the coaching. Because
Okay.
every time we go through this framework and you feel you're missing something, this
Mhm.
is where it exposes a crack in your system.
Okay.
You always ask the time frame because you're going to put this tag on there, and it's going to show you that if you got 25 of these clients in each of these three time frames, this should be 6 to 9. I got to fix this. Then you got your minimum of 25. So you got one in there so far this month that you put in. And if you asked them, it could have been 0 to 3, 3 to 6, right? But
Yeah.
you're working with that client. You have somebody in your pipeline,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yes. Yep.
So whatever you're doing over here to get leads is growing your database, and then some of these people from your database that are actively going to work with you are in your pipeline, and you need an active minimum 25. So our goal is to try to grow that pipeline to 25 active clients at one time.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep.
So right now, if we had 25 and the average price that we're listing or helping someone buy is 400,000, that's a $10 million pipeline that you built, that leads, that closing transactions is coming out of that pipeline. As long as we maintain that pipeline has 25, doesn't go below 25.
Okay.
So you're building something. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So is this helping?
Yes. Very much
Okay.
so.
So watch this. Everybody in your pipeline, watch this arrow, must have a next scheduled appointment moving forward. Because if they're in your pipeline, they've agreed that you're working with them. They're your customer. Remember, I said customers, every customer should have the next activity scheduled on the calendar as an appointment, whether it's a call, whether it's the meet at your office, whether it's you're meeting at his house, their house, whatever. You have to schedule the appointment, because what it sounds like is that if you say I'll call you back, you're chasing the people instead of scheduling them like a business professional. Because think
Okay.
about this: when you leave your dentist, can you leave without them scheduling an appointment? Even if
No.
the appointment was next year for you to do your cleaning, they're
Yes.
still going to schedule that appointment. They're not going to be like, Marilyn, we'll follow up with you and accept. They're not going to do that, correct?
Correct.
So you're going to be the professional here as well, and make sure every time you talk to this guy, you're going to put him on your calendar and making sure that your calendar is going to take out of your brain what to remember, and you're going to be more organized. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Tell me your aha right now.
You know, I didn't look at it like this, but this gets me more excited to make sure that I execute by you know, that appointment to meet with him, to talk with
Mm-hmm.
him, you know. So that it just kind of it gave me a little boost, like, you know what, yeah, that is, because I just thought of it as that, okay, well, you know, I did do the analysis and he was like he wants to continue the conversation and making sure, and I'm like, okay, well, that was good, but I didn't think of it like that's 350,000 that
Yeah,
is, I
potential
didn't,
business in your pipeline.
yeah, yeah.
You $9,650,000 short, but you growing it.
Yes, that's all that matters, keep growing,
Keep
yes,
growing
yes,
it. Look, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So
right.
you got to keep doing this now. So that's my tips with that customer, is just to make sure that you always schedule the appointment. Make sure you get the time frame. You like, you might can say, hey, when do you want to sell? And listen, does he need to buy?
Yes, he wants to go into assisted living
Okay.
because he's
Okay.
in his 80s.
He's 80. Okay. So he needs to go into, so he doesn't need to buy a house.
No, he wants assisted living, but he wants to sell his house
Sell his
because
house.
he's
Okay.
there by himself.
So
And I
so
asked
get a
him
time
if
frame.
he
So
had
like, when does he want to do that? And that will help you with the time frame,
that would
right? Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
So the next no, so out of the so we got, that's one out of the 18 that's in your pipeline. Let's see if the other three remain in your database, because you have to keep nurturing them, because they
Okay,
haven't chose you as their real estate agent yet, or do they go into your pipeline?
okay, okay.
So let's talk about the next customer.
So I can say that the all three of them want to purchase a home, but they're saying their
Hold
credit.
on, hold on,
Okay,
hold on. We're at the CEO level, Marilyn. We're
okay,
talking systems.
okay,
Did you make an appointment? Because you're going into the stories. We don't need that right now.
okay,
The
okay, got
other
it.
three, did you schedule an appointment with them? Yes or no?
One. Just
One.
one other. Uh-huh.
Okay. And you had a conversation.
Yeah.
And does the conversation result in you being their agent? You're going to work with them to move forward?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Did you get the time frame?
No, I did not.
Okay. So
That
we got to work on that. So tell me the conversation.
the conversation was I want to purchase a home, but my credit is bad. And
Okay.
I help with credit so I can walk with them along that way. So
Okay.
we
So do you think this is a 6 to 12 months or 12 plus month?
just off the top of my head, I would say 6 to 12.
Okay. 6 to 12.
Not knowing
And
anything, not knowing
not
anything.
knowing anything. So you had a conversation, and they said, they wanted to buy a house, but their credit is bad. What was the next? How did you leave the conversation?
I said,
That you were
well,
going to do what?
that I told them if I could take a look at your credit because I help with credit repair.
Hmm.
We can see where you're at, and I can also have one of my lenders contact
Hmm.
you so see if you can get pre-approved. But we still need to first look at your credit score to see if that makes sense at this time.
Okay. So so remember the cardinal rule. Did you hang up the phone without scheduling the next step appointment on the calendar?
We got an appointment next week.
Okay, is it on the calendar right now?
It's not on my calendar. Well, it's on my phone. It's because she
You have a
said
calendar. You did it. You did it. You scheduled the meeting.
You know
What
what?
day are you?
I need
What day and time are you guys meeting?
She said Wednesday of next week.
And
So
did you put it on your calendar?
I no, I just have it in my phone through a text.
Put
So
it on your
that's
calendar.
I didn't put
Why
it
do
on my
you think? Why?
there's no
You,
excuse
this
why.
is the system. This is what the system is saying. You're following a system that I'm going to help you to scale. Because as you grow, you're gonna get overwhelmed, Marilyn. I'm telling you, if you create the habit now, you're not gonna be overwhelmed. That makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
So put it on your calendar, because in some of the CRMs, the calendar will send a reminder to the customer through text or email.
It's through text.
Say it again.
You said say that again. I'm sorry, I missed.
If you schedule the appointment on your CRM,
Mhm.
most CRMs have a reminder email and text.
Oh, okay, through Bold Trail. They do. They
Bold
actually
Trail does. So if you
yeah.
had scheduled them in your calendar, it would have sent a nice email. Hey, reminder, you got a meeting with Marilyn at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Doesn't your doctor do that too?
Yes.
So are you in the same profession as building a business just like that?
Yes, I am.
That's why we're doing this system.
Okay. I think
And
that's where
then
the problem is lying is actually
and then
just
if the customer misses their appointment, does your dentist call you or does their admin assistant call?
the assistant calls.
So when you start to build a big business, guess what you got in place already? People
Oh,
on your calendar that your assistant can call when the appointment is missed. Follow me?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Wow.
you
I need
learning
to
some
do
stuff?
better with that. Huh?
You learning some stuff?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Good, good.
I'm up here look okay.
So
Make sure I do
so
that.
so you have two customers that are in your pipeline. One is a long-term one, right? And
Mhm.
again, you're never going to call that person and say, I'm going to follow up with you. Every time you get off the phone with that long-term customer who needs to get their credit ready, you always schedule the next appointment before you hang up the phone. That's a cardinal rule.
Oh wait.
And
Okay.
then they'll be moving up these ladders here. 6 to 12, 3 to 6, 0 to 3, right? They'll be moving up. And again, the more you do lead gen, the more this calendar gets filled up. So now you got two potential customers in your active pipeline that you're building.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna stop there. Let me talk about those other two customers. Um, what happened with the other two? Did you call them?
So we talked, but I didn't schedule anything with them. I didn't. I told them I would follow up with an email and a text, and so they haven't responded back yet with
Okay.
them, but yeah, they seem very
So you
interested. Now see them
called,
again.
but there was
Right.
no conversation.
No, I talked to them. I talked to them. But
What was before? Let me. When you called, um, what was their real estate need?
credit.
Okay, that was their issue, the
That's
obstacle. Did when you called those other two and you're saying, "Hey, did they want to buy a house?" and you uncovered that they have a credit issue? Is that the case? They say,
Yeah.
yes, we do want to
Well,
buy a house.
it was an actual person-to-person conversation. So I was
Okay.
with them in person, with both of them, 2 different, times, but I was with both.
Two different times. Okay.
Yes.
And so you were where were you in person with these people at?
At
Where
work. At work.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they were like, hey, I want to buy, but so you approached them about buying, or they approached you about, can you help me? Who
Well,
approached
it
you
was
first?
just a conversation, my introduction, what I do. I'm a real
Okay.
estate agent. And it was like, oh
Mhm.
my goodness, I really want to, and both of them, same thing. I really want to buy a house, but my credit. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, well, where's your, that's how the conversation started. Then, can I
Mhm.
get your number? Do you have a card? Could I, so that's how
Mhm.
that started. And then I should have scheduled an appointment. We did have a
Ma'am,
conversation.
you got it. Stop. Stop. Marilyn, you're getting it now. You getting it now. You
Yeah.
should have stopped that, and you had just, because guess what's going to happen? That's where the chasing stops,
Okay.
because you're chasing them. If you're saying I'm going to call and follow up, right?
Yeah.
Then it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, Marilyn. Then you missing each other, right? Then you always put it back on the calendar.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where
Wow.
we got to mess. That's where we got to
That's
fix
where
that.
my problem, that now I'm seeing where my problem lies. Because 'cause I'll
Mhm.
talk with them, but it's me getting the appointment.
Yeah.
It's on the calendar. That is
Hmm.
my, because I
Yeah.
always was like, okay, well, I'll
Mhm.
email you or I'll text you or I'll call you, but I could have,
Mhm.
and you've said this plenty of times, but it's sticking to me because I see where my problem is lying.
Right, because I always tell people that um if you look at this appointment from this side, right, from the leads, not from the your pipeline, you should have, if your pipeline is, well, let's look at the lead gen side. You want to reach a goal to have at least 10 new appointments on your calendar every single month.
Mhm.
That will show me that you're actively working a real estate business, because you got 10. Now, if you did this right, you would have had at least 3 to 4 people just from that so far on your calendar, and you would have been 6 short. And you're following this system that if you're making sure you hit the minimum standards, you will have some results. If you just fall in love with the process.
Okay.
And so now it's like Ron said, appointments. If I can get 10 appointments every month on my calendar, 10 appointments every month on my calendar, that then I got people I could talk to. I could figure out what the next steps are, et cetera, et cetera. This is just from your the people that you're meeting for the first time. Then the people from your pipeline that you're following up with, you always want to have appointments with them, and that should equal 10. So over the month, you should have at least 20 appointments from both sides on your calendar every single month.
Okay.
And once you get to that 20, then you kind of know where you are at in growing your business. It's like, man, my leads, I'm getting leads. I'm getting appointments on my calendar. I'm almost there. I'm growing my pipeline. I'm teaching you the system approach to building the business. And then once you hit these metrics, these standards, then your business is going to grow from there.
Okay. It makes sense. A lot of
All
sense.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So continue to do what you're doing. I think you got some of the system down.
Mhm.
And then just keep that going.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right. You learned
All
some
right.
stuff today. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
All right.
All right.